Hey, welcome back to 20 Minutes or Less. My name is Elliot Morgan, and for the first time ever in my life, and I never thought I'd say this, I'm glad I'm not Daniel Tosh. If you're not familiar with Daniel Tosh, he's a stand-up comedian and the star of Comedy Central's Tosh.0. He has a take no prisoners brand of humor where he basically just insults anyone and everyone all the time, and it's freaking hilarious. He's now come under fire due to a performance on Friday at Hollywood's Laugh Factory. After the performance, a post appeared on Tumblr titled, "A Girl Walks Into a Comedy Club," and it's basically a secondhand account of what happened to a girl during that Daniel Tosh show. The author of the now everywhere and totally viral post claims that Tosh made some very generalizing declarative statements about rape jokes always being funny. This anonymous girl then called out, "Actually, rape jokes are never funny." I added the for emphasis. That's the point where everything got allegedly really crazy. Daniel Tosh reacted the way most comedians act when they're heckled. He went for the freaking throat, supposedly saying, "Wouldn't it be funny if that girl got raped by like 5 guys right now? Like right now? What if a bunch of guys just raped her?" Long story short, the girl left, got a couple comments, and Daniel Tosh semi-apologized for the incident on Twitter, stating, "All the out of context misquotes aside, I'd like to sincerely apologize." With that tweet, he also included a link to said Tumblr post, which I find the fact that he linked to the post kind of awesome. He followed that tweet up with, "The point I was making before I was heckled is there are awful things in the world, but you can still make jokes about them. Hashtag dead babies." And adding fuel to this epic firestorm is the owner of the comedy club, Jamie Masada, who has now stated that the account of what happened that night is not totally accurate. He gives a different, albeit kinda hazy version of the story, explaining that Tosh asked the audience what to talk about. Someone in the audience said rape, Tosh made a joke, the girl heckled, and Tosh made a statement, not a joke, about the girl sounding like she'd been raped by 5 guys before. So it was past rape, which is different than future rape, I guess. I don't know, but the owner spoke very highly of Daniel Tosh and later stated, "If this is hurtful, this is a comedy club. They don't mean any harm. If you don't want to get insulted, don't go to comedy clubs." So just to recap, we have 2 versions of Daniel Tosh. One where he is an evil, rape-loving, heartless comedian, and another where he's a harmless, joke-telling, apologetic, nice guy. But the real issue here isn't Daniel Tosh. The issue is comedy and where the line is drawn by society and what is and isn't okay to joke about. And there is backlash happening on both sides of this issue. Most of the backlash is landing right on Daniel Tosh, but a lot of backlash is actually falling on this anonymous girl who was offended by a comedian she had never even heard of before. And that kind of bothers me. It bothers me that people are offended by somebody being offended. Agree with her or not, it weirds me out that there's this whole movement of people out there who pride themselves on not being offended by anything. Like not being offended by anything is somehow cool or mature. But don't get me wrong, I think people should be able to make jokes about whatever they want. Comedy is a wide open, subjective cesspool of offensive to somebody out there jokes. So yeah, I will continue to think it's disgusting to make light of rape. I totally agree with her on that stance. I will also continue to think that Daniel Tosh is freaking hilarious. I know I'm contradicting myself. I'm weird like that. Side note, I wanted to include some jokes in this piece about jokes, so I Googled non-offensive dead baby jokes. Side note, there are no non-offensive dead baby jokes. But I didn't say there aren't any funny ones. So where do you think the line in comedy should be drawn, or do you think there should even be a line? I'm Elliot Morgan, this is 20 Minutes or Less. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff, and we'll see you in a couple hours.